You know, you have to stop saying that you're going to move to Canada whenever you're mad at something in the U.S. As a Canadian, I'm sorry, but no, you can't.
The production is estimated to pump approximately $37.5 million into the community, as well as create over 1,000 jobs.
Hollywood just can't let Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds after they allegedly tried bribing Vancouver officials with a 37.5 Deadpool budget to target a paparazzo. From false claims and years of legal delays to Blake hiding a 392-page deposition and subpoenaing critics, their perfect couple facade is collapsing under relentless PR spin.
Ryan Reynolds to attempt to influence the judge or the court and use his power in order to do so.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, the Pinterest perfect fake modest, were just like you but rich duo, just had their shiny little image shredded. All that quirky banner on talk shows, all those Instagram captions pretending they're just a normal married couple trolling each other. Yeah, turns out behind the avocado toast and filtered selfies, they were dangling a $37.5 million bribe in front of law enforcement, like some bad mob movie subplot.
I believe there is something very deeply disturbed about this man. We believe his desire to photograph us exceeded only by his intention to terrorize us.
I'm not talking about some petty speeding ticket payoff. This is Vancouver, 2015. Ryan and Blake allegedly offer the city the biggest Hollywood paycheck it's seen in years. Not for a charity event or to build a school, but to use police and the court system as their personal hit squad against one photographer, one guy, Richard Fedek. Their egos were apparently so fragile that instead of ignoring the guy like every other celebrity with a camera shoved in their face, they decided to go full dictator mode.
Richard Fedek. Their egos were apparently so fragile that instead of ignoring the guy like every other celebrity with a camera shoved in their face, they decided to go full dictator mode.
The judge completely siding almost exclusively with Blake over and over and over again and ignoring factual evidence of illegal subpoenas or abusive process or whatever it is.
And here's the kicker. Judge Lyman, the referee in this legal circus, just happens to keep making calls that magically benefit Blake. Every single time.
And here's the kicker. Judge Lyman, the referee in this legal circus, just happens to keep making calls that magically benefit Blake every single time. It's like watching a rigged game where you already know the scoreboard before kickoff. The rulings are so eyebrow-raising, they might as well come a note saying, "Love Hollywood." And the public, oh, we're supposed to just sit here and pretend it's normal that the quirky, relatable couple is running a PR hit job wrapped in Hallmark branding. Now, let's talk about the smoking gun. The letter. April 2015, Ryan Reynolds, armed with a pen and an Oscar-worthy imagination, sends Vancouver police a multi-page drama piece. And when I say drama, I mean this thing could have been submitted for Best Original Screenplay. In it, Ryan plays a tragic hero. FedEx becomes an evil villain. And wait for it, Blake, baby James, and even his mother, Tamarily Reynolds, all make cameo appearances. Not because they were in actual danger, but because it makes Ryan sound like the noble family man fighting to protect his girls from the big bad paparazzo. If you can't win with facts, just tug on the heartstrings, right?
While it may be determined conjecture throughout the years, he has always imbued a sense of arrogance and glee in his behavior. I have been working in the entertainment industry for 25 years, and I have a very long history in association with navigating public life and all it entails. Paparazzi is a byproduct of the job. I don't enjoy that aspect, but I understand it. I don't complain about it, nor do I have an expectation that people might understand how awkward and invasive it all can be.
Car chases, stalking harassment. You'd think FedEx was auditioning for the Fast and Furious franchise the way Ryan tells it. The problem, most of it was proven false. Travel records straight up contradicted key parts of Ryan's story. It's like telling the cops you saw someone rob your house, while security footage shows you were the one holding the bag. But that didn't stop Ryan from framing every event like it was part of some Marvel storyline. Except here, there were no stunt doubles, no CGI explosions, just a whole lot of zero credible evidence.
I might have photos taken while out in public. However, it is unusual to be engaged by a photographer who is simultaneously driving a vehicle in this manner.
Seeking safety. Buckle up. The whole war started because someone snapped a photo of Ryan in full Deadpool Burns makeup before the movie was released. That's it. That's the crime of the century in Ryan's world. A makeup shot. Apparently. Having your movie character's face spoiled online justifies a multi-year vendetta. Ryan went from Canada's favorite wisecracking export to a guy obsessively writing legal fanfiction about bushes, hotels, and imaginary high-speed chases.
I know we're friendly, but Canada's not your safe house. I mean, we barely let Canadians into Canada anymore, so please, pick somewhere else. I hear Finland is really lovely this time of year.
This makeup meltdown spiraled fast. Ryan claims FedEx was hiding behind bushes, lurking in hotel hallways, and following them at dangerous speeds. Except again, real evidence shows that half the time FedEx wasn't even in the same city. One especially creative lie had FedEx chasing them from Sudbury to Toronto, except FedEx was chilling in Vancouver at the time. So either this guy teleports or Ryan was just pulling plot lines out of thin air. And of course, Ryan spins all of this as protection for Blake and the general public when it's really just a revenge mission because his ego got bruised by a leaked photo.
And lost his mind. He was so angry. A photograph of him in makeup of Deadpool prompted a months-long, years-long tirade by him.
And comes my favorite part, when Ryan starts playing hardball with the city, like he's running a corporate shakedown. It's 2015. Deadpool's in pre-production, and Ryan, conveniently also producer, suddenly realizes he's got leverage. He tells Vancouver officials, basically, hey, I could film anywhere, New Orleans, Detroit, Europe, but I chose you. I love you, and I'm bringing you $37. $5 million in revenue and over 1,000 jobs. Sounds generous, right? Except there's a catch. That generosity only flows if the city takes care of his FedEx problem.
Back in 2015 and 16, he claimed that he was hit by a car. And because this paparazzo took a photograph of Ryan in his Deadpool makeup before the film had come out.
That's not a community concern. That's the definition of quid pro quo bribery. Dress it up however you want. It's the same as saying, nice economy you've got here. Shame if something happened to it. And he didn't even try to hide it. It's right there in the letter. If they let FedEx run free, it could affect his decision to bring future projects to Vancouver. He's basically threatening to take his Hollywood toys and go home unless the city bends a knee.
With the understanding that he is a paparazzi, I chose at the time to not engage in a verbal conversation with FedEx and instead returned to my car and carried on to my destination.
And let's not pretend Vancouver officials didn't hear him loud and clear. They jumped right in, treating Ryan's every word like gospel. And FedEx was stuck in legal hell for more than 2 years. Charges didn't get dropped until 2017. And not because they proved anything, but because there was literally no evidence. 2.5 years of wasted time, taxpayer money, and public resources. All because Ryan couldn't handle one leaked photo.
So all of what he's saying is a complete lie. It doesn't match any of the evidence, but this is a completely fabricated story that didn't happen.
This is what happens when Hollywood egos collide with small-town star politics. Ryan wasn't just selling them a film. He was selling them the fantasy of being in Ryan Reynolds' inner circle. And when that wasn't enough, he added a massive financial carrot to make sure they couldn't resist. Meanwhile, Blake gets to play the supportive wife role, smiling for the cameras while the legal war machine quietly works in her favor. And can we talk about the sheer hypocrisy here? These are the same people who posture as relatable, kind, and humble. The same people who go viral for cute couple jokes online. The same people who love playing the weird just like you card while wearing designer clothes worth more than your car. Behind the curtain, It's manipulation, leverage, and a willingness to use millions of dollars to crush someone they don't like. The whole thing reeks of insecurity. Ryan had to write a letter full of disproven accusations, drag his whole family into it, and wrap it all in a Hollywood morality tale just to justify going after one man. Blake gets to hide behind his narrative, letting him play the loud, righteous protector while she sits in the background maintaining her America's Sweetheart act. And the judge, well, let's just say if rulings were drinks, Judge Lyman's been serving the same cocktail over in verse. 90% Blake's favorite, 10% to make it look fair.
So for Blake, this was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. Why doesn't she want this to be public? What is she hiding?
They've turned what could have been an ignored paparazzi moment into an international case study in how celebrity privilege works. They weaponize their fame, their money, and their influence, and then wrapped it all in the cozy packaging of being Hollywood's favorite couple. And that's the real scam. Not just the alleged bribe, but the branding that convinced people they were too sweet, too wholesome, and too relatable to ever pull something like this. If this is how they act when one unflattering photo leaks, imagine what they'd do if someone actually exposed something serious. Ryan already wrote a blockbuster-length police letter over makeup. Imagine the trilogy he'd crank out if someone caught them doing something genuinely shady. Oh, wait. I guess we don't have to imagine anymore. All right, let's pick up right where we left off, because if you thought the first half of the saga was bad, this is where the hypocrisy goes into overdrive. So, law enforcement in Vancouver apparently decided Ryan Reynolds' imagination was more credible than actual evidence. No photographs, no videos, no credible witnesses, nothing. And yet they ran with his wild accusations for over 2 years like it was gospel. Poor Richard Fedek spent that entire time in legal purgatory fighting off a case built on Ryan Said So. It wasn't until 2017 that the whole thing quietly fizzled out, because, shocker, there was zero proof. 2.5 years gone. And when the charges were dropped, no apology, no accountability, not even a sheepish "are bad" from Blake or Ryan. They just walked away like they hadn't dragged someone through years of legal hell for sport.
Cleared of these charges until 2017. 2.5 years later, they withdrew the charges against him. Not guilty. No charges. Nothing. Because they had no evidence.
And Ryan, oh Ryan, he loves to paint himself as the ultimate family protector. Except in his own words, he openly admits to chasing FedEx through a parking garage. 6 floors down and 6 floors back up like some ballistic action hero in a direct-to-DVD thriller. You claim you're terrified of this man, but you're literally running after him on foot. Which is it, Ryan? Is he dangerous, or is he your favorite cardio routine? The contradictions are endless. They swear they fear for their safety. Yet, they repeatedly confront FedEx in person. Most people, if they truly believed someone was a threat, would avoid them like the plague. These two, they can't seem to resist the face-to-face drama. And Hollywood's PR machine laps it up, turning the aggressors into martyrs. It's a magic trick we've all seen before. Rebrand the instigator as the victim and hope the audience is too distracted by pretty faces to notice. And surprise, surprise, the judge seems perfectly happy to play along. Fast forward to July 31st, 2020, and here comes another M, Blake's deposition. 400 U.S. 8 pages, 392 to be exact, of sworn testimony taken by Brian Friedman in New York. Justin Baldwin is there probably making mental notes for his next inspirational Instagram post. They've even got a full audience. Steve Sawitz, Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Ale, Jamie Heath. Blake's team knows this isn't some casual chat. It's a high-stakes moment.
Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldwin's legal or lawyer for being a PR agent as well as an attorney. And the judge actually denied her that. And to quash the subpoena, Justin Baldwin's legal team added some information to say, hey, we're not part of this smear campaign.
That transcript gets attached to a court filing, and Blake's reaction is instant panic. They go nuclear, demanding it be removed, even though it's already sealed. You couldn't read it anyway, but apparently just knowing it's sitting there in the docket is too much for her to bear. The excuse? The media might cherry-pick quotes and twist her words, which is rich considering Blake has no problem feeding carefully curated PR-approved versions of her truth to outlets like the New York Times whenever it benefits her.
And Blake Lively actually admitted herself that the only smear campaign that's been going on lately is the one basically with Justin Baldoni defending himself.
Of course, Judge Lyman swoops in like her personal legal fairy godmother, granting the request and striking it from the record. Once again, she gets exactly what she wants with zero resistance from the bench. Another day, another ruling that mysteriously breaks in her favor. This leads right into her favorite card to play, the damned if you do, damned if you don't routine. Her PR spin is almost elegant in its cynicism. If she lets the deposition stand, critics will take it out of context. If she fights to hide it, she looks like she's covering something up. Either way, she positions herself as the victim of unfair scrutiny. And while she's busy playing 4D chess with her reputation, Justin Baldwin's team is planning the question in everyone's mind. What exactly is she so desperate to hide? And the thing is, it's working, just not in the way she wants. Public perception is starting to turn, even among people who don't follow this case closely. When someone keeps insisting they're telling the truth, but fights tooth and nail to keep their own word hidden, it doesn't exactly scream confidence. It screams damage control. The whole thing smells less like self-pee protection and more like a frantic scramble to plug leaks in a sinking ship. The longer she hides, the more it feeds suspicion. And honestly, if your sworn testimony can't survive daylight without being misinterpreted, maybe the problem isn't the daylight. Maybe the problem is what's actually in those 392 pages.